Hi everyone, it's Friday night, 8 o'clock, a strange time for it, but it's GG Gaming Gone Mad. We are, of course, coming into a massive weekend of betting. We've got 4 rugby quarterfinals, and for you English Premier League fans, the small matter of Manchester United against Liverpool that's taking place on Sunday. Loads of money for Liverpool. I've seen streaming and their odds are being cut every single day. We'll get Gary's view on that. I see he's got a bit of a price boost on that game as well. And of course, we'll be giving away some betting vouchers on the show. Welcome to all of the boys in the live chat. To anybody who's new to the show, do go down below and subscribe to the channel. But Gary, good to see you on this Friday night. Thanks for taking the time out to join us on what should be an incredibly exciting weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously disappointed when you told me yesterday that we couldn't do the show, but you know what I mean, there's more than what makes up for it. It was definitely not a week where we were going to give it a miss. Am I right, Brent?
No, we couldn't give it a miss, and I see the boys are joining in the live chat as well, so I think we'll have a lot of enthusiasm tonight.
I mean, the only thing Article does need to know, we are going to give away 100,000 Rand in one prize, and we're going to give away a few others. But the 100,000 Rand, all you have to do is predict who will win the rugby game between South Africa and Japan. That's all for 100,000. No, I'm joking. It's going to be more difficult than that, you know what I'm saying? But having said that, that's what makes it exciting. It is a lot of money. But let's see where we go with it. I think it's going to be really, really exciting stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think what a great weekend. I mean, you know, forget about Man United and Liverpool for now. We can get back to there. There's a test match about that. Let's just focus on the 4 games. This is what the World Cup needed. There's no doubt about it. It's been an ordinary World Cup until now. That is the truth. You know what I'm saying? This is what it needs. It needs 4 games. And each game is so intriguing in itself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the truth is, any one of these 4 games, in my opinion, could make a great day's rugby by itself, even if it wasn't a World Cup. I mean, Ireland, New Zealand, there's a little bit of history there. You know what I mean? Ireland did a little bit. They took away the number 1 ranking. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely interest there. England and Australia. 2 Australian coaches that played rugby together. They do like each other. They do like each other as well. But there is a lot of competition. There's never any love lost between Australia and England. Anyway, no? Then there's, Wales and France. Also history there over the past 40 years of 5 nations rugby in the old days for that. And then, let's be honest, the South Africa-Japan game has its own intrigue connected to it as well. You know what I mean? There's always what happened a few years ago. And there's also this whole thing about a rugby team that's playing as though they've got nothing to lose, that against another team that's got everything to lose. You know what I mean? One team that's going to sit and shy away from every set phase that they can and try to keep the game going and as open as possible, and another team that's going to try and look for set phases and keep it as tight as possible. You know what I mean? The darlings of rugby right now against what was the darlings of rugby 20 years ago in the World Cup. You know what I'm saying, Brent? So they're there for every single game, and each game is going to have its twists and turns for sure.
That's it. It's perfectly set up. I'm bringing Emil Korf's name up here, Gary, from the live chat, particularly because the last time you gave away, a very hard to get betting voucher, and I think it was 25K. Emil was the guy who popped up. I think it was 2 first try scorer bets in 2 Super Rugby games or something like that. He popped up. So I'd just like to warn you that he is in the live chat. So we got to watch out for him, eh?
No, but something very similar, you know what I'm saying? So, and I think it took Emil about the best part of 7 or 8 months to use up that voucher. And he'll tell you himself that we try and make it as easy as possible for the people to do it. There are no terms and conditions. We try and make it as easy as possible. And, let's hope if somebody gets 100, they deserve it. You know what I'm saying, Brent?
Excellent. Well, good to see the boys chatting about the games in the live chat. And Gary, should we run through the World Cup quarterfinal, starting with tomorrow, England against Australia? I see the handicap here around about 8.5 points all week. I don't know if you guys have seen any movement there. I actually thought the money would come for England, but if anything, from what I can tell, there's been quite a bit of money for Australia. How's your book looking?
There has been a little bit of money for Australia, not enough to really start moving point spreads, Brent. But it hasn't been one-way traffic, and like you say, if there has been a slight sort of preference, it's probably been for Australia. I mean, everybody knows that it's a knockout game, and you know what I mean. It's not as though it's just pushing buttons for England. I like the England side. I think they've chosen a really good side. I understand why they fought. I think they're a really good side, and you know what I mean. I think that they'll use this. They have missed a week, right? I think that they'll use this as a springboard to perhaps a bigger encounter next week against the All Blacks or Ireland. You know what I'm saying? But for my money, 8.5. Once you start to get away from that first try, Brent, it starts to become well, not from the first round, from any try. It starts to become a biggish spread in a knockout competition, you know. I mean, the truth be told, to be safe going into the last 5 minutes, you would need them to be leading by 16 points, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
As much as and I think England will go on to win this World Cup. That's my prediction, you know. I can't see them leading by 16 points, you know what I mean? It's a high-ish spread. I would never back the Wallabies. It's a good market, this. I would back the Wallabies for any price, you know what I mean? I think that their stars are either too old or too young, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Hooper and Pocock together. You know what I mean? I would have taken my chances and gone with one or the other and brought the other one on at a late. I would have done. I don't think that they're ever well as a pair. You know, as great as they both are as individuals, I think that will count against them. They're a good. They're well prepared. You know, they've come to this World Cup with this mind. You know what I'm saying? That this is their focus and everything. And Australia, I think, have had so many problems in the back. And I think that the Falau story will come and bite them in the bum tomorrow. I hope he doesn't take any offense to that and call me anything. But or I'll park them somewhere else. But I think that England will beat them and beat them fairly comfortably. But I couldn't get involved in that spread.
Yeah, I must say, I did make it my best bet in the Good for the Game newsletter, which went out earlier. I do like England. I've sort of stuck to them all tournament. I'm not one who thinks they're coming into this game undercooked. I think it's going to suit them to be a little bit fresher coming into the game. So I am going for England there. More confident on them winning the tournament as well. By the way, what are England trading at to win the tournament now, Gary?
7 to 241.
Right.
They changed so quickly. You know what I'm saying? If Ireland beat New Zealand, it's a massive. I'm not saying we've just got our load shedding now. You might have just noticed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I can still see you, but it's pretty dark.
Yeah. If it gets to be darker, then I start to look a lot better. I would say if you give it about, I'd say 90 seconds, the generator will kick in. I can see it starting to come up. I hope it doesn't come on. They're not going to get ready for the month. I'm sure. But if you have a bet and go to sleep and wake up in 2 weeks' time, I think you would have done well taking the 41.
Excellent. Well, Gary, what I want to suggest is we maybe go for the first voucher on this game because it's a game that I'm quite heavily involved with. England and Australia game. Maybe we should ask the guys who's going to win and by how many points, and they got to hit it spot on.
Let's go for exactly. If they have to hit it exactly spot on, I think let's go at 2,000 rand.
Excellent. Good stuff. So that's England and Australia, guys. Who's going to win about how many points? If you hit it spot on, 2,000. If there's more than one, so don't worry about going the same as someone. We'll you happy to split the vouchers then, Gary?
Yeah, we'll see that. You know, I mean, worst case scenario was split it with two guys. You know what I mean? And regular GG game, the punters and regular the show, and we'll keep it both guys. You know what I mean? But we'll reserve judgment on that.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, let's move on to the next game then, and that is the one. Sorry, Gary. I'm battling a little bit to hear you, Gary. I'm not sure if it's got anything to do with the load shedding. You still there? I'll just ask the guys in the live chat if they can hear you properly. The sound's gone a bit bad there, Gary. Do you want to try go out and come back in again? I'll just chat in the meantime while you come back in. You just go out and come back in and see how it goes. The guys are saying you have gone. They can't hear you. Shot. Gary, they disappeared for a while. The guys have got another one for a 500 Rand voucher. Let's do this while Gary's gone. I wrote a blog for the Citizen newspaper. It's published on the Good for the Game website under Citizen blog. I want to know, I wrote about an experience when the Cheetahs won the handicap or a bet for me in the last minute last week, and my daughter and a friend were here. I want to know what was my daughter's friend's name. Warning, you're not going to get this unless you're from South Africa, but it's in that article. That will be for a 500 Rand voucher. First guy to come out with my daughter's friend's name will get the 500 Rand voucher. So that's on the Citizen blog there. You can go to that blog now see what the name is. You'll see why I say that you have to be from South Africa to get the name correct, and you can come out with it. Yvette is incorrect, Mr. Nicholas. Jane is incorrect. And we'll see now if the guys have come on. I want to bring Gary in and see if we can hear him. Gary, how's it?
Yeah. I think that you should be able to.
Yeah, much better. Just to let you know, I wrote a blog this week for the Citizen newspaper that I've been doing for many years. And I've asked the guys, it was a story last week, the Cheetahs up against, I think it was Munster they were playing last week. And I was on the handicap, but I also took Cheetahs over 33.5 points. And coming into the last 5 minutes, they had 33 points. And my daughter and her friend, my daughter's 17, her friend's 18, so she legally could even place a bet. But they were now intrigued, and I told them, now I've got quite a nice bet on it. And they were watching. And thankfully, the Cheetahs scored after the hooter to win the bet. And I went ballistic. And then, of course, they reviewed the grounding. I mean, all I had to do was put it down. But so this girl, she went from thinking sports betting was great to potentially not so great. But the point being, I just want to know what her name is here. But none of the guys are. There we go. The first guy's got it, and I just want to check that he is, because I translated a name in it to Blatse, which Peter got right. But of course, that's Afrikaans for page. So well done, Chris. I'm pretty confident you get the voucher there for getting paid. So we can bank that one. I just thought I'd do that one while you out of the show, then Gary, and then back onto the rugby. Where we're talking about the New Zealand Ireland game, I think 12.5.
Yeah. Now that's going to be a total war of attrition, isn't it, Brent? I mean, let's be perfectly honest. I think it's much, much closer than that spread. I mean, history tells us that it is, Everybody's telling us that the All Blacks have been such a good side there. They've been okay. They've been good in patches, you know what I'm saying? The Ireland game, maybe they were a little bit complacent against the Japanese, and maybe that did count against them a lot. And, maybe if they saw what happened with Scotland before they played Japan, they would have taken it a lot more seriously, and we would have seen a different result, maybe. And I don't want to discredit the Japan side at all, because maybe Ireland were at their best there and they just weren't good enough. We'll know a lot more. It's going to be
Joe's suggesting conditions will be crucial. I guess he's right there, hey?
I agree with you. I think that the conditions will mean everything there. I think that if there's one place where the All Blacks, in my opinion, are a little bit behind this Ireland side, is at halfback, And I think that if the Ireland halfbacks really click tomorrow, it could cause a lot of problems for the All Blacks. And I'm not sure that it's a game that it's just one of those games where if you're a believer that the Northern Hemisphere is catching up to the Southern Hemisphere, then it's a game where you've got to take the plus, don't you, Brent?
Yeah, I'm on the plus there. In fact, on the show before, Oracle was on my show, and we've got an even 500 on 2 games. I've gone England, he's gone Australia, and I've gone Ireland plus, and he reckons New Zealand will run away with it. So that's what we've gone on that game. But I do fancy the Irish to push them close. I actually think, I give them a chance. You have to stick to your guns, I guess, a bit, Gary. And I've been saying the Northern Hemisphere all along, and I've also said that New Zealand are not the side they were. Maybe I'll get proven horribly wrong tomorrow and they'll run away with the game. But for me, it's the Irish, and I'm hoping I go into this game with a nice fat wallet after a big England win against Australia, and that'll obviously probably influence my mindset as well. Looking at Sunday's games, I mean,
we're not going to do anything on this game there, Brent. I think let's do something.
Okay.
There. Let's go for. Also, they've got to be within a minute. Again, we'll give another nice prize. Let's make this one 4,000 Rand. All of this in betting vouchers. First scoring play, and when will it be scored?
First scoring play, and when will it be scored? This is now in the New Zealand Ireland games. So first scoring play, like New Zealand penalty in the 12th minute, for example. Gary, is that what you're looking for?
Exactly.
Okay. Just confirm what the prize is on that one. 4,000
Rand, and they got to get it. Let's make it within a minute, Brent. Do you know what I mean? Either way.
Within it, first scoring play, and you got to be within a minute either side of it there. So if you say in the 13th minute and it's the 12th or the 14th, you'll be okay. But anything outside of that, and you'll be gone. So we got, for example, Peter has come in with New Zealand penalty in the 8th, Kevin Turner Irish penalty in the 5th. Very close to. The comments are coming in so quick. I've clicked on the wrong one. Good to see Vin Naidu, and then just to welcome Mark Borragera. I haven't seen him in the live chat before. I played a bit of poker with him in my time. So Mark, good to have you in the live chat as well. And so plenty of predictions coming through on this. And this one, Joe's even gone as far as to predict who's going to score the try. CJ Stander from a maul No use saying under 10 minutes though, Joe. You got to give us the minute. We'll take it as the 10th minute that you going in there. So that's going to be the one. Then Gary, we can move on to Sunday's fixtures. We've of course got the 2 quarterfinals taking place. Now the first one I want to talk about is the one that's got me pretty confused. It's probably the only game I don't have a really firm view on. Just to recap on the Ireland game quickly, I like unders on points there. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I think the points line's about 41.5, 42.5. I really like unders in the New Zealand game.
Yeah. Look, I mean, most of the penalties, while it's tight, are going to be kicked, you know what I'm saying, and not kicked for the corners. They're going to go for poles. And conditions may play right into your hands there, Brent. So, yeah, I think unders I don't think there's going to be 60 points in this game, you know. I think you're probably right. That's a great photo there.
I like his prediction as well. He's not only telling us that Ireland will score the penalty, he's giving us the reason why and who the offending player is. I mean, that'll be pretty impressive if he gets that correct.
If he gets that right, it's definitely a bonus, you know.
That's it. Right. So let's move on then to Wales, France. Now, the handicap here, Gary, 6.5 points, I think, on this game. It's been pretty stable all week. It's the usual. I was saying on the previous show, we don't like to use cliches, but France just welcome cliches. You know, which French team will pick, rock up, the usual stuff that we say about France. But it's hard not to talk like that because that is France. I mean, once again, they appear to be in turmoil. They seem to be unhappy with the coach. But they've, over the last year or so, they played the first half against Wales in the Six Nations, which absolutely impressed me, even though Wales came back against them.
Yeah.
And the first half against Argentina as well, they were very impressive. And, I don't know, if they got any chance. I thought the 5-2, there was a bit of 5-2 around that France could win. I thought that was actually the value play.
Maybe. I'm going to go against you. Yeah, I don't like France, but I've never liked France in World Cups, and I often end up eating my words, But, yes, like we said, they were 15, 16 points up against Wales. They got beaten. They're up a bag full of points against Ireland, and they hung on. Do you know what I'm saying? So something's not right, you know what I mean? But they do have talent, you know what I'm saying? And they can score tries, they can break away. I just feel that, I'm just not sure that their heart's in it, Brent. I'm not sure, that if you go back to the side that have beaten the All Blacks twice in World Cups, right? They had a bit of, I hate using the word fierce, but they had a little bit of balls and a little bit of spirit in the side, you know what I'm saying? And I haven't seen that in this side. I don't know. This side to me just looked like a France side that don't really want to be there. Having said that, you know what I mean? If I saw on Sunday night France had won by 12 points, I wouldn't be shocked. But for me, this is the one spread that I think is out. This is the one spread that I think Wales can run away with it. I think that if France get down, I'm not sure that they got the heart or the will to come back this time, And I agree with exactly what Chris McGowan says there. And I just want to say one thing about all these bets. We only give people one bite at the cherry, Brent? You know what I'm saying? You can't come and say Ireland by 6. I mean, penalty in the 3rd minute, 4th minute, 5th minute. You have one bet.
Yes.
And if you have more than one bet, it's automatic per bet.
Your first entry counts, yeah.
Exactly. No, not even your first bet counts. It's automatic disqualification.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean? That's fair enough. But so I think that if I was forced to have a spread bet here on a minus, it's the only minus that I think might be a little bit low. And I like Wales. I'm going to go against you, and I'm going to say that Wales will win this by probably more than 2 scores.
Right. So Gary on the Welsh there. You want to do anything on this game, Gary?
Definitely. We want to do something on every game, yeah. Let's see what will happen here. Let's go for you want to do something different here, don't we, Brent? What can we do? Let's think of something here where there can be a high number. Let's do, what about your favorite one, shirt numbers? Try score a shirt numbers.
That's a nice one. Yeah.
You guys, you're an expert on this. I mean, people are going to be phoning you for their tips. I mean, the truth is, you've had to sell 3 or 4 houses because of this. But
yes, let's do shirt. So just to explain to the guys, you want to do total shirt numbers on the game, Gary?
Total shirt numbers on the game, and you've got to be within. This 3, Brent? 3.
Fair enough. You've got to be within 3. And just to tell the guys, to explain shirt numbers to the guys who don't know, it's just the sum total of the shirt numbers. So if a guy number 8 scores and then number 15 scores, it goes to 23. And just to mention that a penalty try is worth 8. So we'll follow the spread betting rule. So if there's a penalty try, that is worth 8. And it's whatever the official spread is at the end of the game on shirt numbers. You must be within 3 to win it. And I see Sean Nicholas expecting some tries in the game. He says 74 in this game. Yeah, you might want a couple of subs coming on at the end. But I like this one, Gary. I think it'll keep the interest. What are we playing for here?
Now let's go for 2,000 because we're going to have something different later on as well. You know what I'm saying? So let's go for 2,000 in this game.
Excellent. Well, that's a good one. Let me put a prediction in here as well. I'll say I'm going to go with shirts on this game. I'm going with 31, Gary. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Really? Well, I'm going to go with 63.
63. I'm going to put that in here as well, so we got it on record. And okay, no, that's a good one. The guys are coming in here, just having a look at it. Most of the guys in the sort of 40s, between 40 and 70, which is, I guess the spread is probably going to be around about 51, 54. In fact, I've got one of the spread betting companies open at the moment, so I can actually quickly go in and have a look, and I'll tell you what the spread is, seeing that everyone's already put their predictions in, and I can tell you what the actual spread in shirt numbers means nothing because it's such an unpredictable bet. The spread is 42-46. That is what the spread is.
Okay, excellent. You know?
Great. Well, let's move on to the big game from a South African point of view, Gary, and that is South Africa against Japan. Now, I did the preview for good for the game, and I came out very firmly in the South African camp here. I think South Africa are going to win well. We had Oracle on the previous show. Okay, the guy looked like he had a couple of beers in him, but he was ready to throw his granny's pension, his wife's savings, everything at South Africa. He reckons they're going to win by 30+. And we had an interesting chat around the way the media seemed to have built Japan up for this game. And that might be keeping this handicap perhaps a bit lower than it should have been. But you can throw all a spanner in the works by telling us that you fancy Japan on the handicap here.
No, I don't. I don't. But, you know, at the end of the day, they deserve to not be 30 points, right? Obviously, there's one game that keeps coming back into my mind, and that's the warm-up game. I don't know what happened there. It's a little bit like a barrier trial at Greyville, where you don't know, you know what I mean, how much attention to pay to. So I've got to try and get that out of my mind. And let's deal with the facts that we've got in front of us, right? Japan did everything that they could do in the round robin phase, Brent. They beat everybody that was put in front of them, and they actually beat them quite well. You know what I'm saying? It would have been easy for them to disappear against Scotland when Scotland scored first. You know what I'm saying? But they showed a lot of guts there, you know. But you just felt in that Scotland game that every ball that Japan passed wasn't weighted or as calculated as when the All Blacks passed inside or whatever it was, and it just happened to be a Japan player there, and with a little bit of, if they weren't, I'm not saying lucky, but things just went their way. They had the rub of the green, okay? I think that really helped them. I don't think they're in South Africa's class. I have one, and like I said, it's a complete contradiction in styles here. You're going to have one team that does, you know, Japan would like the game to carry on for 79 minutes and somebody to score a try in the 80th minute. You know what I'm saying, Brent? The more breakdowns and the more stops in play there are going to have to count for South Africa. You know what I'm saying? In South Africa's favour. They got a much bigger pack. You know what I mean? They got a huge fly half boot there. They're going to keep it tightish. They will try to feed off Japan's mistakes, and Japan will make mistakes. You can't keep throwing the ball around like that with defences on you. And the South African defence will be on them the whole of tomorrow, on Sunday. There's no doubt about that. You feel Japan will make mistakes and South Africa will feed off those mistakes. Then you've got South Africa who are going to look, they'd be happy to have a line out and a scrum every 45 seconds. Let's be perfectly honest, you know. Yes. There is, in my opinion, and you might just say, now I'm being an arsehole, but a lot of people say that. And my wife agreed. Okay, well, that's easy enough. She's not coming for supper. But, and I agree a lot with Sean says it. I have one thing here. What concerns me are these slightly smaller Japan players, right, Brent? Running, ducking down, squirming, doing what they do, and a big South African pack making tackles. And it is complete crap that people are getting red cards for tackles that they can't, we've discussed it before, that they can't help, right? And that is my own, exactly, here we go.
Yeah, I bought this one up because it's exactly what you say now, Gary. The red card could come and change the match.
Easy, and it may not be one. That's the problem, Brent, that at the end of the day, it's a much smaller side. It's no different to, you know, if I had to put you there, you're a big bloke, you know what I'm saying? And I had to send you to Turfentine Racecourse, and all the jockeys had to run past you, you know what I'm saying? Without really trying, you're going to tackle one of them around the neck, Brent? You can't go any lower, you know what I'm saying? That's the truth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I'd love to do that challenge one day, Gary.
I think you need to have an ECG first just to make sure you can catch one of them, you know what I'm saying, Brent?
Yes.
That's a bit quicker than you think. And that's the only thing that I'm so worried about, a red card spoiling one or two games in these quarterfinals and in particular the South African one, I can just, you know what I mean? There's the whole world is hoping, the rugby world, for a Japan story. The referees, yes, are impartial, but they feel it. You know what I mean? And the truth is, there's, you know what I mean, 3 or 4 people sitting in a combi somewhere smoking weed and deciding if a tackle's hard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, okay, they don't really do that. You know what I mean? It's not Cheech and Chong that do it, you know? But, yeah, exactly. He's probably right. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's right.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact of the matter is that, in my opinion, that's the only thing that can count against South Africa. And obviously, they'll be aware of it. But how aware of it can you be in the heat of the moment? A guy's coming to you. He tries to cut inside. He tries to go around you. You start to slip and you catch him around the neck. Does that mean, does that mean that a guy should be sent off? In my opinion, intent has to play a big role in a red card in a game this big, Brent? How tall is Brent? That's a good giveaway voucher. Brent, probably the only thing that Brent could get right, Chris? I bet,
yes, that's it. I know how tall I am in centimeters. So
I'll tell you, I'll have a guess at how many centimeters you are, Brent. Talking height only. I'll go for I'll go 183.
Gary's gone 183.
Maybe 184. Let me go 184. I'll go 184 because that hairstyle of yours looks like a bit Don Kingish tonight. So I'm going to add a centimeter. I'll go 184.
You guys, what do we get? I know. I'll say when someone gets it spot on, and they only allowed 1 pick each. What voucher are we playing for? The boys playing for here, Gary? 250.
Whatever it is. So if you're 185, they get 185 rand. You know what I mean? If you want whatever it is, okay, we'll give it to them on that. Okay,
we got quite a few. Vin coming in at 192, Peter at 188, Kevin 186.
Nobody's.
Hold on, sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. This reminds me a little bit about a question you asked a few weeks ago, Gary, where the boys were everywhere but on the mark, if you remember that one.
Yes, I remember, except for Zach, who put in every single number. He's so upset, Zach, he had to go for Shabbos dinner at his dad, but he's going to watch the replay later. And I said to him, he doesn't have to worry. Most of the bets, he can still send the emails through until the first game kicks off tomorrow, Brent.
Excellent. Well, LB saying anything he gets right, we can donate to the next closest person. He's obviously there in the UK. Can you open overseas accounts, Gary?
Yeah, well, let him give me an email next week and we'll talk about it, Brent.
Oh, you won't believe it. We actually had a winner early on, and I missed it. So we've had millions of predictions, none of which are right, and I've just scanned back up. And can you believe it? The guy asked the question, and I promise you I don't know him at all. Got it, 189. That's my height.
Okay, so you're taller than I thought, 185. Very nice. So Chris McGowan gets, 189.
189 onto his 500. Well done, Chris. I think Chris actually isn't even in South Africa, so I could be wrong, but I can promise you Chris doesn't know me, so it was just a bloody good guess. Right, that's what else we're going to do?
We're going to do the soccer now. We'll go briefly onto the soccer. And I always used to think, I don't know your son that well. I've seen him once or twice, and I've met him once or twice, and I always wondered why, I always knew why I wanted to play rugby, but I never quite knew why he was so intrigued about water polo. But my curiosity's been sorted out, and I understand that now. And good for the boy, you know what I'm saying, Brent? You know what I'm saying?
I'm actually trying to get him. Yeah, I'm trying to get him a bursary at a Cape Town school for next year, Gary.
I understand why, you know what I'm saying, but I'm sure that they're going to be full. But anyway, let's move on then. Well, we still haven't got. Okay, we'll finish off with our 100,000 rand bet just now. You know what I'm saying, Brent? I'm just trying to think how difficult we make it. I think this make it exceptionally difficult, right? Because if we don't give it away this week, we'll give it away next week. And my wife just walked into the room and she said 18.9 inches isn't that big. What's Brent bragging about? But she's just been spoiled, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't understand it, Law. We're not talking about the meat and veg. All right, so let's move on quickly to the soccer. I always choose a game where they're going to be more than 2.5 or more than 3.5 goals, Brent. I'm going to tip one game, then we'll get on to the Man United. I think Arsenal go to Sheffield United. I'm going to say more than 3.5 goals, both teams to score, yes, and Arsenal to win.
Okay. More than 3.5, both teams to score, Arsenal to win. Any idea of the price there, Gary?
No, I don't. But I haven't worked out, but I'm going to say I'm tipping like a 4-1, 4-2 to Arsenal there. Right, let's head to the big game, Brent. And yeah, I mean, what a game that one to be, you know.
Oh, the big game, the big game. United Liverpool. There's been plenty of money for Liverpool, Gary.
There has, when we sent out our price boost, I gave Man United and the draw to 12.5 to 10. It was by far the best price in the world, I mean, at that stage, Liverpool were trading at, I think, 8.5, 9 to 10. I see Liverpool in some places have come in as short as 6 to 10.
Yeah.
That's definitely not on the news of De Gea and Pogba probably not playing. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Pogba were better off without Man United, better off without him. And the Liverpool may have injuries with Salah out. But, what we've seen so far this season, it looks like it's going to be one-way traffic. But it won't be. I think you'll see for the first time in a long time since Mourinho's day, United absolutely park the bus and try just counter. I don't think United are going to come and play soccer on Sunday. I don't think this will be a high-scoring match. I think that it could finish 1-1 or maybe get separated by 1-0 or a 2-1. I don't see this one getting 4 goals in any way. You know what I mean? But it's going to be a hell of an intriguing game. This is going to, in my opinion, this game will set both sides' seasons up there and then. If Liverpool win, I know it's early days, but I don't see them getting caught after this. You know what I'm saying? Is that Velosh or is it his girlfriend? It's an interesting question.
Please confirm, Velosh.
You can't keep putting up that picture, Brent. We know that he said 3-1. Why do you keep putting up that picture? No. But I think that if Liverpool do get the result, I think that they're going to be very, very difficult to peg back. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
If United do fluke it, that might be the turnaround that they're waiting for. If they don't, they can. I promise you, if they get beaten, they can write off Europe. They can write it off. There's no chance they can get a top 4 unless they get 3 points here.
Yes. No, I agree with you there, Gary. I mean, this is pivotal for both teams. I mean, Liverpool are travelling so well, but if they can get the 3 points here, which clearly most people now expect them to do, they are going to be hard to stop because City are also showing a few strange signs. They're a bit inconsistent. They can be their devastating best, but they're dropping points in unexpected places.
Exactly. No, this is the most inconsistent we've seen City. You know what I mean? It's since our memory can go back. Because remember, we used to focus on City. They were just another arbitrary side in the league until they got the money thrown in there about 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying, Brent? And then you slowly saw them build up. But I mean, are they missing company? And I think that's the thing. I'm not buying into anything else. I think company was a gel in that side. And I think that he held that side together. And I think that even when he wasn't playing, just to have him in the dressing room, I think that's what it was for City. And I know I guarantee Chris is going for Liverpool. What happened to the koala's right eye? But I honestly think that City aren't the force that they were without company. And I think that Liverpool will win the league. It's early days, but I think that they will. And I think that they win on Sunday. There'll be no stopping them.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. So interesting. And what's your price boost for this game, Gary?
Man United or the draw, the double chance, 12.5 to 10.
12.5 to 10.
But just remember, basically what you're doing is you're laying me a little bit under 8 to 10 Liverpool, and that would be good value for. It's not one unless you're a real Man United supporter to go rushing into. Other than the fact that United may just be able to keep Liverpool out and frustrate them if he does park the bus. But my honest opinion, I think that Liverpool are going to fluke a 1-0.
Yes. I just want to scan down there. Anything else on the game before we revert back to rugby, Gary?
No, not yet. So when we spoke, not right. I think when we spoke, we're going to have just the 4 rugby games in 100 grand, and that would have been difficult enough. But I'm going to say something else. Just one more curveball, Brent, and that will make it very, very difficult. But the guys must remember that if we don't give away the 100 now, we're still going to keep it going for next week and the final week and everything as well, So it doesn't matter if they don't get it. You know what I mean? Of course, you want to win it now and put it to bed. But the fact of the matter is that, we're not just stopping now. You know what I mean? If somebody does, there's 100 grand prize, and at some stage during the course of the year on this show, we're going to give it away. So let's make this one really tough, Brent. Let's go the first try scorer in every game.
Okay.
The quarterfinals, plus which teams to win, and the same thing with the football. Man United, Liverpool, or the draw, and the first goal scorer there obviously no goal scorer or no try scorer. It's also a result. I know it's damn tough, but it costs nothing to enter other than to have an account at GG Gaming. You know what I mean? You probably got more chance of going to Monte Casino, I'm going to Empress Casino. I mean, obviously Empress, I'm partial towards Empress. Obviously going to Empress Casino and catching a number twice in a row, but it's been done. It happens all the time. It's not as though we're asking somebody to pole vault over Table Mountain. You know what I'm saying, Brent? At the end of the day, somebody's going to score the tries and somebody's going to win. So it is possible. And like I said, we'll keep it going. Let's try that one to start. And, you know, just while I mentioned Empress Palace, and I don't like to, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, my poker tournaments are sponsored by WSB. I do want to mention that, not by GG Gaming. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? You know my relationship with WSB, how good it is with Rainer and Warren and everything. So the WSB Empress Palace Poker Classic does start in 3 weeks' time. We are running satellites at Empress Palace now. What I'd like to do, Brent, is say that anybody that watches this show, right, over the next 3 weeks, let them just give you their name, tell you who their favorite poker player is, right? And we'll do a lucky draw from all those people, and I'll get them into event one.
Okay, that's excellent.
So who their favorite poker player is, and they're not going to get any special prizes by saying it to me. I know that they're bullshitting, you know. But then let's do that, you know.
And what I'm going to do, guys, is just put my email address in the comments, because you could email me if you're interested, and we'll put you into the draw. That's for the poker. So it's brent@goodforthegame.co.za, and we can have a look at that.
Obviously, we'll do something with you in the event one, and you know what we're going to do. Maybe what we'll even do is do the show live from there. We're going to have a streaming booth, as it turns out, Brent, at the poker. So you know what I mean? Maybe you'll come.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it live from the poker. That'll be great.
And maybe you'll come and play an event one and everything. So you've got to experience how WPT event works. We'll put you in there. You know what I'm saying? We'd like you to do that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if you've ever gone on a double date with Matt, my assistant tournament director, you know. But whenever I ask about you, he always called you poker's premature ejaculator. Now, is that because you leave the tournament too early? I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying? But put him in his place. He's going to be there working there for event one. And I'd like maybe you go on and teach him a lesson and win it. You know what I'm saying, Brent? You do that. Event one's on me, and you'll come into the booth there. We'll talk and we'll do the show live from there on the Thursday night.
Excellent. I see Oracle. Obviously, this is quite a difficult one to enter, and it'll take the guys a little bit of time. So let's have a look at Oracle's one here. France by 4, Aussie by 4, New Zealand by 30, and SA by 44. Try scorers: Aussie, Kiribati, France, Pino, Barrett. Any of them? You can't really say any of them. It'll have to be Bowden. I think Geordie's on the bench. And Colby, has he covered everything there? I don't think so.
Doesn't mean he can't be the first try scorer. You know what I'm saying, Brent? You know what I mean? There's a big chance that somebody coming off the bench in one of those games, even the Ireland, in particular, the Ireland-New Zealand game, could be a first try scorer. That's a definite possibility, right?
Yes. So, Oracle, what you got to do there, the margins aren't actually important here. We just got to know who's going to win the game and the first try scorer in that game. And then in the soccer, it's who's going to win and the first goal scorer. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so you're almost there, Oracle. So you got the 4, say, winning teams there and the 4 try scorers. And then we need in the soccer who's gonna win the game and who the first scorer will be in that. If you do get a full house, that's 100,000 rands worth of free bets coming your way there. So we can get that in. I'll say to the guys, we'll give you a little bit of time to get those in on the live chat now. I'll keep things going for a bit. Gary, anything else we got to chat about for the weekend? Anything else catch the eye? The cricket test. I mean, 4-11 India to beat South Africa in the third test must be put and take.
You know, people, just the truth be told, right? Unless there's weather around, it's stealing money at 4-11, right? I mean, the fact that India only have to bet once to beat South Africa. You know what I mean? That is the truth. So, you know, I think India are probably decent value if there's no weather. I haven't checked that yet. Let's do one other thing. I've got a horse running on Monday, race 2 Fairview. His name is Freezing Frost. I actually own it with Rainer and Graham. Ethan Graham wanted to watch the show for the first time tonight. He had a winner during the week in Durban. This is Rainer's first horse. He's had a bit of a surgery and he's recovering at home. So let's do this. Let's do this, Brent. Let everybody let's have a fictitious game. Right, my horse will win, by the way. I know it's even money and everything. It will win on Monday. So let's do this. Let's choose a fictitious game. Let's go Australia versus Japan. Right.
Okay.
Australia versus Japan, let the people send through the winning margin and the team that they think will win that, right? The person that gets the closest, however it is, if there's a dead heat rule, will spin a coin, right? That will all go on to my horse Freezing Fast in the second race running at Fairview on Monday. And if my horse does win, the person that gets it will get a R2,500 voucher as well.
Okay, excellent. So whoever gets closest will roll on, and then if the horse wins, 2,500 voucher. Gary, I'm putting my email address up here as well, because I think this competition for the 100,000 will stump the guys a little bit, and that's quite a difficult one to do in a short period of time on the live chat. So guys, what I'm going to suggest is email me as soon as I get the emails. I'll reply. Obviously, we're going to close this one. We'll close it 10 minutes before the England kickoff because I'm going to do a live stream on the England game. We'll close it 10 minutes before the first game. And what I'll do is, as soon as I receive the email, I'll respond and I'll copy Kerry in as well. So it's all on record that the thing came in good time. So guys, just to recap, we want to know who's going to win each of the quarterfinals and who the first try scorer are going to be, who's going to win Man United, Liverpool, and who's going to score the first goal in that game. And that's for the 100,000 voucher. So it is a bit of a tough one to put it through now. So you can email me there, brent@goodforthegame.co.za, and I will reply to that and copy GG Gaming in. So we make sure we get some, give you a little bit of time to do that. Although there are a few guys who've been coming up, and anything that comes in now will obviously also count as well. You won't have to email me if you do put it on the live chat.
There you go. He's got the process exactly right. You know what I'm saying, Brent? That's exactly how we'd like to see the answers coming in, and we'll go from there. It's all good there. You know what I'm saying? I see that your picture of your email address there comes up with Andre Pollard, and he'll definitely have a big role to play on Sunday. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? You feel that he's going to have a good game for South Africa to win it, and I'm pretty sure, well, like I said, avoiding red cards, I see them being easy winners. Let's see what happens in the rest of the games.
Excellent. And I see the guys are starting to come in with their predictions. Australia by 19, Australia by 13, Australia by 9. So we've got quite a few coming in there. That's actually going to be a very interesting one, I must say. I'm going to apply my mind to that one as well and see what has Oracle Rugby got to say? Monday racing, Freezing will win on Monday. Aussie, Japan, Aussie will win by 22. You know what he means there, Gary?
No. What he's saying, he doesn't have to say if Freezing Fast, he gets that automatically. Aussie, Japan, Aussie will win by 22. That's fine. He's got that there.
Okay, yes.
So, that's excellent. Great. Right, Brent, I think that's about all of it. I mean, the one thing we should do is it may interfere with our social lives, but maybe for the next 2 weeks we can do this. And tell your friends about the show. We're going to give away 100 grand every week. Maybe not give it away, but we're going to give people the opportunity. It will get easier as time goes by. Tell your friends to watch the show. Tell them to come to GG Gaming. And also, Brent, maybe leave the chat open and everything and see if guys preferred this time slot. And if they do, maybe for the next 2 weeks we move you. You know what I'm saying? It's a possibility. I don't know if it interferes with your life at all. But if they did enjoy it for the rest of the World Cup, perhaps we move to an 8 o'clock on Friday night. Or is that a mission for you?
Yeah, that's it. I think maybe, guys, let us know what suits you. It's always difficult to tell. We've had I'd say it looks like a fairly similar turnout in terms of the live views. It was a little bit short notice for the guys, obviously. But let us know. And even if we move it, Gary, I'm also even happy to move it earlier on a Thursday or even on a Wednesday. Maybe give the show a little bit more time, especially for the next 2 weeks, so we're not rushing it before the rugby show. So we can let the guys and the guys can let us know what they think about that.
Perfect. I think that's it for tonight, Brent?
Gary, it is. Just to mention to the guys that are watching, I see Chris is saying he's going to pop in. I'm going to do something. A lot of these YouTubers are doing these live streams at the moment where you sit and you don't show the game, but you chat to people during the game and that. So we're going to try that tomorrow with a few of the guys. So anybody watching the England-Australia game, I'm going to try it for the first time. We'll have the show on for the whole time. The guys talking a little bit of betting and stuff like that. So it should be quite interesting. And pop by and join us. And maybe you could see me throwing my toys around a little bit if England get beaten, I can tell you. But Gary, thanks very much. And what you got planned for the weekend?
Brent, what have I got planned for the weekend? My sister's here from Switzerland, so they're in Joburg. They just had their 50th birthday, her and her husband, and my two nephews have had their 10th birthday, so they're having a celebration on Sunday. You can imagine what happened when they sent out the invitation to my Sportman family saying that the lunch starts at 12 o'clock on Sunday and they expect everybody to be there. You know what I'm saying? They got, besides my mother, everybody else said no, right? So they've had to compromise, and we've gone to a venue, which is a private venue, and there's a TV set there, 2 TV sets there, and we'll be able to watch whatever we want. But to go back to me, I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm going to catch a late flight out of here so I can get to Joburg in time to watch. Instead of traveling early Sunday morning, I'll travel tomorrow night so I can watch both games on Sunday morning and in the comfort of the hotel. And yeah, that's my chop. You know what I mean? Really, just a lot of sport, and you can't hope for more than this. I mean, at the end of the day, I know we've had a lot of criticism about the World Cup, but what I said at the beginning of the show is the truth. It only really starts now.
That's it. And in fact, that's exactly what I think, Gary. And I think we're going to see it in the performances of the teams. Thinking of teams like France, I'm thinking of teams like Ireland that are only really going to show us what they've got now come quarterfinal time. So I'm really excited. I've got no kids' sport this weekend, so I can watch all 4 games. Absolutely cannot wait and going to get involved. I've had a few wins with GG Gaming of late, so I'm looking to multiply that balance a few times as well. I need to make a big draw at the end of the World Cup. Gary Lentin, thank you very much.
Brent, thank you. Cheers, guys. Enjoy what is going to be a lovely weekend of sports. Have a great time.
Excellent, guys. Thanks very much for joining us in the live chat. I will just put the details up here quickly. I haven't got the link as yet, but where's it? The handicap? We're gonna be going. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong. I've gone to an old one there. Anyway, tomorrow morning, come in about 10 minutes before the England game. We're going to have a live link there. Let's see how it goes. See if we enjoy it. Maybe we'll do it for other games. If not, we'll give it a miss. But I'm certainly looking forward to that one and taking 500 Rand off Oracle Rugby. Thanks for watching. Do go down below and hit the subscribe button. Cheers, guys.